Hi friends, welcome to our channel. So in this video, we are going to discuss about how to create a dynamic web project in Java. To create a dynamic web project, so you will select File, New. There you will be getting option Dynamic Web Project. So in case in your Eclipse, if you are not getting this option directly, you can click on Other and you will be getting a window like this. So in this window you just scroll up down, so there you can see you have a option web. Under web you have a option to create dynamic web project. So finally, if I want to run any web application, it may be a JSP or sublet or it may be a HTML. To create a web application, I need to create a dynamic web project. So finally, this is a way to select dynamic web project. In case in your Eclipse, if you are not getting this web option, which means the plugin is not enabled in your Eclipse. So finally, to create a dynamic web project, so first of all, in my Eclipse, I have to enable this web plugin. So for example, in my Eclipse, so that web plugin is enabled. So that's why I'm getting option to create dynamic web project. So in case in your Eclipse, if you are not getting this option, which means the web plugin is not enabled. So let me show you how to enable a web plugin in a Eclipse to create a dynamic web project. If I want to enable any plugin in my Eclipse, I will go to help menu. So there you can see I have an option install new software. So I will select this option. So once I selected this option, I will be getting a install window or wizard like this. So from this, I have to select my updates based on my Eclipse version. For example, my Eclipse version is MOS. You can see I have an option to download the releases for a MOS. The same way, based on your Eclipse version, you will be getting a URL like this: http colon download.eclipse.org slash releases slash your Eclipse version. So you will be selecting this option. So once you selected this option, it will download all the available plugins from the internet. So it may take little time. So now you can see it's actually downloading the plugins. So it depends our internet speed. It may take little time. Yeah, now you can see it is displaying all the available plugins for a version MOS. So now from this, our intention is we want to enable web plugin. You can just scroll down. At the bottom, you have an option for web. So you will select this web plugin to enable web plugin in our Eclipse so that we can create our dynamic web project. I will select right now. I'm not going to select all those things. I'm just selecting only so this web plugin, and then you can click next. So again, it will take little time because it has to calculate and it has to identify the dependencies related to web plugin. So now you can see once it's identified the dependency which is related to web plugin, it is displaying all the option. So now once it's displayed all the option, so here you no need to change anything. Simply you will click next, and you have to accept the license and the agreements. So I will select the first radio button to accept terms and condition. So and then by clicking finish button, it will install web plugin in your Eclipse, and then it will ask you to restart your Eclipse. Once the plugin is installed in your Eclipse, it will ask you to restart the Eclipse. You will restart the Eclipse. From the next boot onwards, from the next restarting of your Eclipse, you will be getting option to create a dynamic web project. But in my case, I'm not going to install it because in my case, already the web plugin is enabled in my Eclipse. So that's why I'm just going to click cancel. So finally, if I want to create a dynamic web project, so first of all, I have to enable web plugin in my Eclipse. So friends, I hope we are clear how to enable web plugins. So once we enable web plugin, as I mentioned in the beginning, you will be getting an option. I mean, from the next restart onwards, you will be getting option. Either directly you will get option like this dynamic web project, or you can go to other from this wizard. You will scroll down. So there you have an option web. Under web, you have an option to create a dynamic web project. So now I'm just creating one simple dynamic web project. So I will select dynamic web project and then I will say next. So here you can see it is asking me to enter the project name. Let me say my web project. You can give any project name. For example, I am giving a project name as my web project, and no need to change anything. But one thing we have to make, by default it may come with a higher version. For example, in my Eclipse you can see it is coming with the web model version as 3.0. So as a fresher, it's better to go with web model version 2.5, so that you will be getting a web.xml file. Maybe in a sublet video you will understand why should I go for web.xml file. So finally, only this changes we have to make. So first I will be entering my project name. So and then I will select my dynamic web model version as 2.5, so that it will create a web.xml file which is required for our sublet part. So and then once I done this one, I will click finish, or I can say next, again next. And you can see since I selected web model version as 2.5, it is generating a web.xml file. So and then I can click finish to create my dynamic web project. So now you can see it is building my web project. So now you can see my project is ready. Let me explore this project. So now my dynamic web project is ready. So now just for a simple demo, I'm going to create one HTML, and I'm going to run this HTML file on a web server. So in market we have so many web servers are there. For example, I'm going to use a web server Tomcat. So if I want to run a web application, I need a web server. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create one simple HTML file, and I will show you how to run that HTML file on a Tomcat web server. To create a HTML file, I have to right click on my web content directory. Maybe in case of new Eclipse, in case if you are using a new or latest Eclipse version, so then your folder name will be web app. So in my case, it's a little older version, so that's why the folder name is web content. But in your case, yes, if it is a latest version, it may be a web app. I mean, the folder name will be web app. So finally, to create a HTML page, I need to right click on my web content, or if it is a latest Eclipse version, then you will be right clicking on web app folder. And then I will say I want to create a new HTML file. So I will select this HTML file, and then I can give any name. For example, I'm saying that my first web page dot html. You can give any HTML file name, and the extension must be dot html. So for example, in my case, I have given a file name as my first web page dot html, and then you can click finish. It will be creating a HTML file skeleton inside your web content directory. And I'm just writing a very simple HTML code just to check my output. I'm just displaying a message, welcome to dynamic web project, and then I will save this file. So now we have created our dynamic web project, and in that dynamic web project we created one HTML file. So now the last step is we have to understand how to run this dynamic web project by using Tomcat web server. To use Tomcat web server, first of all, the Tomcat must be installed in our machine. So for example, in my machine, already the Tomcat is installed. The same way, you can download any Tomcat version from the internet and how to install it. To download the Tomcat, it's very simple. You can go to Google and you can just type Tomcat free download, and you will take the very first link. You can see this is a official website for Tomcat web server. So very simple, to download a Tomcat, you will go to browser and you will type Tomcat free download in a Google search, and you can open the very first link. So this is the official website, and from this you can select any version. For example, Tomcat 10 version is there, 9 is there, and 8 is there. The same way you will be selecting any version. For example, let me select the Tomcat 8 version. So once I selected this Tomcat version, maybe 8 or 7, depends you will just scroll down. So here you can see you have a Windows service installer. Please don't go for this zip file. It's better to go for Windows service installer. So now you can see this is a comfortable exe file for 32-bit as well as 64-bit Windows OS. So make sure that you are selecting this Windows service installer option. You can see once I click this link, you can see it is downloading my Tomcat exe file. So this exe file is more required, so don't go for this zip file. So once the download is completed, you will be double click that exe file, and you will say next, 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 and finish. So that will install Tomcat in your machine. Yeah, I think my download is over. Yeah, now it's ready. So make sure that friends, you are selecting Tomcat Windows Service Installer, so that we will get a exe file. So the exe file will be like this. So with the cat symbol it will come. So to install this Tomcat is very simple. You will be double clicking that exe file, and you will say next, next, next. So you will say next, agree, and again no need to change anything here. Again next, and same way no need to change the port number. Yes, by default Tomcat will run on a port number 8080, and then click next. Okay, so in my case this Tomcat is already installed in my machine, so that's why I'm getting this message. But in your case it will continue. So in the next step you will get the option install, and you will install it. So let me cancel it because already the Tomcat is installed in my machine. So finally you can look at my machine. In my machine already I have installed Tomcat in my program files, and it will be inside your Apache software foundation folder. So there I have installed already Tomcat 7 as well as 8.5. The same way you will install any of the Tomcat version in your machine, maybe 7 or 8.5 or 8 or 9, so up to you. So now my Tomcat is also ready. So once my Tomcat is installed in my machine, now I can run my dynamic web project on a Tomcat web server. So how to run it? It's very simple. For example, coming to this project, as of now I have only one, a simple HTML page. So I'm going to run this HTML page on a Tomcat web server. So by right clicking on the HTML page, I will select the option run as. So here you can see I have option run on server. I'm repeating the step once again, friends. So first, if I want to run a web application, first of all I have to enable web plugin in my machine. So once the web plugin is enabled, I can create a dynamic web project. So once the dynamic web project is created, for a sample purpose, you can make one simple HTML file inside web content. And the fourth step is, if I want to run a web application, I need a web server. For example, I can use any web server. For example, I have installed Tomcat web server in my machine. The same way, once Tomcat is installed in your machine, you will be right clicking on the HTML page, and you will say run as, and you will select the option run on server. So once I selected this option run on server, you can see it is displaying so many web server list. So once I selected run as run on server, it will be displaying all the web server list. So from this, as per our machine, we have installed Apache Tomcat. So I will select Apache Tomcat, and as per my machine, I have a Tomcat version 7. Yeah, I have version 7 as well as 8.5. So now you can see from this list, I have to select the version, in which version I want to run. For example, Tomcat 7 is a stable version. So that's why I'm selecting Tomcat 7. So in your case also, my suggestion is maybe you can install Tomcat 7 or 8. So I will be selecting the version. So for example, based on my installation. So in my machine, Tomcat 7 is installed. So that's why I'm selecting a Tomcat version 7 and then click next. So once I click next, it will ask you to browse Tomcat installation directory. So I will click on browse and I will say or I will select my installed Tomcat location. For example, in my machine, it is installed in C drive, program files, Apache Software Foundation. So there I have a Tomcat 7. So I will be selecting this root directory. So make sure that you are selecting up to your Tomcat version. So and then you can click next and then you will say finish so that it will start and run your web application on Tomcat version based on your selection. So let me click finish. You can see it is starting my Tomcat. In bottom of my Eclipse, you can see it is starting my Tomcat. Yes, it is started successfully and it is displaying my HTML output. So the code, whatever I have written, for example, I have written a code, welcome to Dynamic Web Project. So that I will be getting in the browser. So this is actually Eclipse internal browser. If you want to run on an external browser, you can copy this URL and you can paste it in your external browser, maybe Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. So there you can paste it. So friends, so we are clear how to create a dynamic web project and how to run our web application on a Tomcat web server. So thanks friends for watching this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe and click on the bell symbol so that as soon as I upload a new video, you will be getting the notification. Also, you can share it with your friends.